with this, I think we can start with the lightning talks.
Am I audible to the last row? Yeah. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about dependency management in Python, right? So why dependency management is important, right? The first thing is to obviously to track dependencies in large and complex projects. Usually as students we actually work on small projects, right, which we end up writing in one single file. And then we already have a dependencies, but then when we come to large and complex things and we want these to be run on other machines, not on ours exactly, on other machines, then it's pretty important to track your dependencies. So what's different about Python dependency management? Why is it something which we talk about rarely? First of all, because we already have most of our dependencies on a computer already, right? That's because we already have Anaconda. Most of you use Anaconda, right, on your PCs, and then we know that it also is shipped with all your dependencies inside. So we usually don't really care. I mean, we already are confident that we have everything on a PC, right? And the second thing is, it's not a big deal to install dependencies. Why? Because all you have to do is a pip install and whatever you need, right? And then you're done with it. So, and another thing which adds to this is because Python is interpreted, right? It's not compiled like other languages. Not talking about C, but languages such as Rust and JavaScript, right, Node. So those are compiled and then it gives you a result. So if there's anything which is actually missing in a dependency list in Node or Rust, you get a compilation error. But in Python, you get error by error by error, and then we never mind actually fixing all of those, even though it can be hectic, right? So another temporary problem which we have to deal with is Python having two versions. One is 2.7 and one is 3, right? And we know both of them are incompatible, right? And then we obviously, each of us in the crowd have a favorite, right? One chooses 2.7, one chooses 3.5. I personally like 2.7, but then it's actually it's a good thing to move to 3.5 because it's better, right? So that's another thing we face as developers. So another thing to think about is why not build a Python version manager like npm. Node has its Node version manager, right? Why can't we build something like that? But anyways, so what's wrong? We already know that pip is there. So pip has its own dependency management thing. It's called pip freeze, wherein all the dependencies of your file are frozen into a requirement.txt file. If you guys have not done that before, you guys should try it out. So what's wrong with this? It can't handle conflicting dependencies, like when there are two bigger packages which need smaller dependencies, and you have a conflict between them. It won't recognize that basically, and that's what's happening. So what we need as a solution is basically something which can handle conflicting dependencies if you have more than two packages, right, which have multiple sub packages within them. That's one thing. And the second thing is to as a bonus, be able to run a Python 2.7 project or a 3.5 project irrespective of what your Python version is actually on your local machine. That's the dream for all of us. And yes, we do have an answer. That's pip environment or conda environment. So these are virtual environments in the sense these isolate all this basically isolates your project in your computer. It doesn't know anything outside of it, which means any dependencies which you install on your computer, like using pip, right, pip install anything, NumPy or something, it has no idea about it. So once you actually activate a pip environment, it knows nothing. All it knows about is what is inside it, right? So now you can it's a PyPy project, by the way. So now how it works, you initialize your environment, and then you simply install all the dependencies which you require towards in that project inside that. How you do that is pip invent shell. That's how you initialize it. Pip install NumPy, pip n install NumPy. So that's how you install all your dependencies basically. And how you freeze them. You create a pip file lock, pip file.log, right? How you have a package.json log, right? So you freeze all of them, and then it happens to also, manage your conflicts beforehand itself while runtime. And installing it, if you're actually cloning a project and then you want to run it by yourself, all you have to do is use this single one line. You get all your stuff done there, right? So it's better in multiple ways. We know how it's better, right? It's doing all the work for ourselves. It doesn't really matter about which Python version it is because it's creating it for us, and it keeps things to the minimum. So I'd like to end this talk by telling that it's important to take note of all your dependencies in a project, because right now we work on really small projects, right? Probably, like I already told, one file, right? We always tend to do that. We always tend to club all our stuff into one big file, which ends up being 1,000 lines or something. But no, that's not how we're supposed to do it. We're supposed to segregate our stuff, put in dependencies where they're necessary. And yeah, I think that's a really good practice as a developer, as a Python developer, or any software developer, as a matter of fact. So yeah, thank you. Any question and answers? Questions, sorry. No? Yeah, so that's my talk.